Hello guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to update my tier list. We're going to start off at the stage at which it was in the latest installment of this franchise, and we're going to go hero by hero. This tier list is going to be comprehensive. It's going to be a deep dive. I'm going to explain placement of every hero except for the weakest ones. And this video is going to be long and detailed, and it's going to be structured in such a way that you can give it to a brand new player and they will understand why an X hero is good and why a Y hero is bad. Yep. With all of that being said, let's first take a look at the tier names. Triple S, the most valuable heroes. Also, this tier list considers both PvE and PvP value of heroes. And Triple S, the most valuable, they excel in both PvP and PvE. S, super strong, excel in both. A, strong, fall short in either PvE or PvP. B, good heroes, but they can only be used in certain niches. C is just weak, and Z the weakest. Alright, let's go. First of all, Universa. In the newest patch, Universa was nerfed, but she's still the most valuable hero in the game. She's still the hero that can hit 5 targets at a time, and she's irreplaceable in event operations, and she still rocks in PvP. So if you're a new player, focus and dedicate yourself to Universa as soon as possible. Anissa stays in Triple S. People that don't understand how the game works say that she's been nerfed, but this is not true. Anissa has been side-graded or changed. In the past, she decreased defense only of humans, and to let's call it coefficient. At a coefficient of 15. Now she reduces them enemy defense by every human present on the team by 5. So if she's facing 3 humans, like 1, 2, 3, she debuffs those humans just as she was debuffing them during the previous patch. But now on top of that, all of the inhuman targets that are going to be in the team with those 3 humans are going to receive insane defense debuff. And even if your team just has 1 human, she's going to debuff in all of his allies. So, and against full human, triple and higher human teams, she's even stronger than she's been. So Anissa is solidified in Triple S tier as the second, if not the first queen of the game. Now, Nolan. Nolan is the new hero. I've covered him recently when he was released. I spent a lot of resources on his upgrades and getting a ton of his copies. And I can already say that he's an S tier material. He's a fantastic, insanely strong hero. You want to level his first skill to 7, then his second skill to 10, then his fourth skill to 10. It's deceptively strong, insanely strong. And then third skill to level 3. That's what I did now, and I'm using him at 5 stars. He was dishing out the same and more damage than a 17-star Conquest and 17-star Kregg. Go figure. He is going to be the best hero for This Is Heavy, one of the best heroes for Earth Defender operation. He synergizes with both Mark II, getting plus 84 attack, with Rus getting plus 35 attack, and as a result he can be the highest attack hero in the game. Previously it was Conquest, because he can take buffs from Mark II and from Rus Livingston, but right now Nolan has the highest attack ceiling in the game. Fantastic hero, fantastic. Can't stress this enough. Shapesmith. Shapesmith was the best tank and the best healer in the entire game before the most recent patch hit, but right now he is just good, maybe strong. Some people show screenshots with him healing a whole lot, but instead of healing entire team by like 90-70% of his HP, he can now only do that by 14% of his HP. To say that it's a nerf and it's not what it was in the past is an understatement. So Shapesmith for now is moved to A tier. He is strong, but he is nothing like he was before. Dog Seismic. Dog Seismic is a great hero. He is very strong. He has some of the highest damage in the game. He has high mobility. He is what I'm calling some heroes a true ranged hero, because he's not a sitting duck and he flies around the battlefield if some melee character approaches him. He can seriously reduce defense of Viltrumites, but he is a human, and after Anissa's rework, him existing drags his entire team down, and Defender Eve also hard counters him because she gives the entire team ranged shields. So I'm moving Dog Seismic down to A. He's still fantastic hero, the best criminal faction hero, but not the hot shit he was. Black Blue Mark, Black Blue Invincible, definitely triple S hero. He does insane damage, executes targets below 25% HP, even if it's a Conquest win with 5 billion defense, even if it's Shapesmith that's going to out-heal himself. He increases all of the melee heroes, no matter if they're defenders, no matter what their race is, increases their attack by 84% and lifesteal by 70. He increases attack of Anissa, and that in turn increases the amount of defense reduction she gives to humans. So they are a very, very lovely couple, lovely pair, and he empowers everyone. So, and he does very high damage by himself, and he does true damage, and he has insane synergy with Kregg due to his third skill that makes him do true damage every time he has a shield on. Insane synergy with Defender Eve. The most valuable hero, the best character of his entire faction. You want to get him and upgrade him as soon as possible. Now we're going to Omniman. Omniman is solidified in S tier. Omniman is the best Viltrumite killer in the entire game, with his second skill possibly giving him plus 50% crit chance. As long as an enemy team has at least one Viltrumite, he is a god. If enemy team has multiple Viltrumites, he's a ultra mega Dragon Ball god. Some whales, some GD advisors on the server still deny him, but if you see screenshots, if you see his performance, he is insane. He has a very high a very steep investment curve, so he's just okay when he starts out, but the moment you can start leveling his second skill to level 11, 12, 13, he blossoms like a cherry tree. Fantastic hero, one of my main heroes, one of my defense heroes. Can't praise him enough. He's great for PvP, when at least one Viltrumite is present on the enemy team. He's great for well done operation due to his third skill. He's great for This Is Heavy because it contains Viltrumites, and he's great for Earth Defender operations because it has Viltrumites as well. Conquest, at this point nobody can argue and nobody can rival Conquest. He is the best defender in the game. He does so much damage, he counts as an attacker. He synergizes with the best heroes in the game like Anissa because he pushes enemies often and makes Anissa fly through them, dealing massive damage and reducing their healing by something like 90%. Which Mark II does too. He pushes enemies often and Anissa benefits off that. Conquest also gets stacks from Mark II. Conquest gets increased damage from Kregg. Conquest gets plus 35% attack from Rus. He has the highest stats in the entire game. So he is the tankiest and one of the hardest hitting enemies, and almost always the last man to be standing on the battlefield. As one of my friends said, going into PvP without Conquest is like going outside butt naked. So Conquest, can't praise him enough. Kregg. With the Shapesmith's nerf, Kregg is confirmed the best support hero in the entire game. He's not the best healer, but he's definitely the strongest support hero in the entire game. Summoning Thula or Anissa or Lucan, making those characters have the same level of skills as he has. So for example, if he summons Anissa and his second skill is at 15, the summoned Anissa is going to have her second skill at 15. And summoning those minions every 25-22 seconds, insane. Shielding the entire team at the very beginning of the battlefield with a massive shield, which is something like 15 to 20% of hero's defense, and it lasts for 50 seconds. He's like a burst and anti-burst hero. He's burst against humans if he summons Anissa. He's burst against anyone if he summons Thula, because she's going to stab the lowest HP enemy. Same with Lucan, who's going to taunt, I think, highest attack enemies. Kregg is insane, and he makes all of the SSS and ST characters, all of the Viltrumites, even stronger by increasing the final damage they deal by up to 20%. And his first skill can reduce defense of 2 or more targets by almost 50 or 60%, effectively increasing damage taken by enemies by 100%. Insane. Fantastic hero. Third or fourth best hero of the From Worlds Beyond faction. The only thing Conquest has on him is that Conquest can pierce immunity shields. Not that it's too important, honestly. So, S tier, undeniably, undoubtedly. Donald Ferguson. Donald Ferguson stays in S tier. He is one of the best damage dealers in the entire game. He can rival Universa and Anissa and Mark II and even Nolan in that extremely high single target damage. The truest ranged hero, because he is like Doc Seismic on steroids, constantly dashing across the battlefield, constantly losing aggro. he gets an immunity shield if he's stunned. He increases entire team's defense by 18%. It doesn't seem like much, but in actuality it's a very serious defense increase. He's great for ops, he's great for PvP. He's an inhuman GDA, so he never fights for food with Viltrumites from Worlds Beyond. I can't praise him enough. And his 4th skill makes him explode when he's killed, dealing massive damage. So it's very beneficial in hard operations like food operations. But he's not great out of the box. He requires skill investment, particularly in skill 1 and skill 3. With investment he becomes so much better, like 3 times better. Don't sleep on him, Donald. Don't trust people that say that he's mid, underwhelming. He is the best GDA attacker and one of the best attackers in the entire game. There are many proofs to that if you examine the server and fight him. Rus Livingston. Rus Livingston is probably second best support in the entire game from Worlds Beyond. Unfortunately he's human, so he drags his entire team a little bit down, but the fact that he can empower 1, 2, 3, 4 of the strongest heroes in the entire game by 35% if you upgrade his 2nd skill to 10. Insane. And having Anissa and Universa on the team with him is a double whammy, because he increases Anissa's defense reduction by 35%, and then on top of that he increases damage dealt by both Universa and Anissa by 35%, which results in something like x2, x2.5 damage. On top of that he does confusion, making enemies attack each other. On top of that he heals you by heroes killed. Irreplaceable for GD ops, and fantastic blitz PvP composition king. And with addition of Nolan, who is another insanely strong hero, Rus becomes even more valuable than he ever was. And just with this patch I moved him from 620 to almost like what is that, 960. So, and he's fantastic in Alliance regions as well. Great hero, can't praise him enough. And I think he's the only hero that has infinite range, so he can be standing and his squids are going to be crawling across the entire battlefield. He doesn't need to come closer to targets. Alan unfortunately goes down to A tier. Alan is a strong hero. He's a very good hero, but he's no longer instrumental, he's no longer needed, and he is no longer the strongest. People like Conquest and maybe even Defender Eve, they can kill people. Alan kind of does nothing but take punches. He takes punches better than anybody else, but he's just Alan, a big orange man, bad. He has a very serious buff to the team with his 2nd skill, making your team deal up to plus 20% damage and having plus 20% defense. But that skill is very easy to play. If you see him in PvP, just don't use Not of This Earth heroes like Universa and Shapesmith, and he doesn't have a 2nd skill, and he does nothing for his team. So he's good in some operations, he's still strong in PvP, but he's not a menace. He's like half an empty slot if you're using triple S and S tier heroes. So I put him into A. Plus his do you really want this no damage guy to take away food from Universa, Anissa, Nolan, Conquest, Kregg, Rus? No, you don't want that. Defender Reef. Unfortunately, Defender Reef is demoted to A tier. She's a fantastic hero, great kid, extremely fun, extremely strong, great out of the box. She counters Universa with her second skill, giving the entire team anti-ranged shields. Therefore, she hard counters Donald and Doc Seismic too. And the fact that she gives shields at the start of the battlefield to Mark II and enables him to do true damage for a long time, and that those shields cannot be broken by melee heroes but only by ranged heroes, effectively resulting in Mark having shield up for like 10 to 15 seconds, 12, maybe 12, I don't remember the durations. Terrific, insane stuff. But with the most recent patch, she's a human, and therefore she drags her entire team down, sadly. And she's not super strong. She's still strong, you can use her, you probably should use her. She's second or probably third best hero of the Earth Defender faction, but not the best of the best. Because of all of that. Yes. Capevincible. Capevincible goes down to B tier. This is going to be a hot take for some of you. And I've seen people and some content creators glazing him, but he's not hot shit. Capevincible is extremely weak and extremely mid. Don't ask people that have him at epic 5 stars if he's strong or not. Ask people that have him at 5 stars, omnipotent, 10 stars, 17 stars. Mine is at 15 stars right now, and he still does less damage than Nolan at 5 stars. It seems like Capevincible. So look, his true damage is pathetically low. Unbelievably low. That's a first. Second, his second skill, he gains attack per humans dying. Are you using Multipaul for humans to be dying? If you lose a human like Mark II, you're going to get plus 6% attack? Man, that's a joke. If you're using 2 humans and one of those humans is this placeholder, your team is going to be trashed by Anissa. His first skill doesn't always push enemies as it should, so he's bugged, and therefore Anissa doesn't benefit from it. His skills and his artifacts do not reduce enemy healing, while they should by descriptions, because his third skill doesn't read, only reduces enemy healing by basic attacks, but it works like that. His fourth skill doesn't scale well. All of his skills scale pretty poorly. I think that developers tested him around with his second skill at max stacks, where he has plus 60% attack, and they balanced him around that. The issue is that he will never have even half of those stacks in PvP, and in GD Ops he can have them if you use a weak hero on the team, but why would you do that? Or if you use Multipaul, but why would you use Multipaul? Unfortunately, he had a great potential, but he is bugged. His skills do not scale well. His performance, look at the stats, look at the battle reports. He's a very bad damage dealer. He's not the best criminal. Don't trust people that say that. Ask for evidence, ask for demonstration. He is mid, heavily mid, and even Kregg is not saving him with his plus 20% damage. I'm heartbroken. I hope he is buffed, but so far he stays here. Now we're going to Robert. Robert stays in S tier, in A tier. He's inhuman, so Anissa cannot abuse him. He's once again the best healer in the entire game. Shapesmith is no longer. but he doesn't deal much damage, doesn't have much synergy with Triple S and S tier heroes. I mean, he doesn't have any synergy with them. So, solid choice, great out of the box, no need to invest heavily into him. Yep, A tier, great healer, probably the best in the game, but not the best of the best. Thula. Thula stays here. She deals very good damage. She opens up a fight with a 3-second stun on the weakest target. Great blitz hero, very good for ops. Should you invest into her? Should you build her up? No, 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 don't do that. Do Universa, Anissa, Nolan, Conquest, Kregg, Rus. Don't do Thula. If you want Thula, get Kregg and he'll be summoning Thula sometimes. But the fact that she is food, forever food at this point, doesn't mean that she is bad. She's a good hero and I have to place her in A tier for that. Agent Spider. Stays in A tier. Too bad that he is human and Anissa and Kregg dookie on him, but he gives massive critical chance buff to the entire team. With his second skill, he can open up a fight by pulling an enemy and make an Anissa obliterate them. Like if you see a backline enemy, you just put in your Agent Spider and he'll pull her and she'll blast through her. But his skills don't scale well, except for skill 2, and by himself he doesn't do too much damage. But he's great for ops, and he's an awesome, fantastic instrument for PvP for pulling backliners. So he stays in A. Cecil, the same. With Anissa, he became... With new Anissa rework, he became weaker than he was, because if he exists, his Reanimen are going to be... their defense is going to be reduced by Anissa, which never happened before. So, there's that. But he can increase his team's critical chance by 70%. For several seconds he can steal immunity, any buffs, including immunity shields, and give them to his allies. And he's good for some operations, and people found a tag for him where you put him in the backline and you put some level 1 heroes, and by them dropping they deal massive damage if you upgrade his 4th skill. Very, very good hero, very good hero. Just don't upgrade his 3rd skill if you want to use him in ops. If you do that, he's going to stop working in certain operations, like Well Done and the Guardians around the globe. And I think in Everyone Who's Anyone too. 80 hero, one of the best heroes of GTA faction, and hopefully he's going to be fixed soon. This is what developers promised. Powerplex stays in A tier. He is a very solid attacker. He increases damage of Dog Seismic and Robot and other technologists, but other technologists are not very good. So that's that. And unfortunately, he has one of the most interesting kits in the entire game. He can reflect damage. He becomes stronger the lower his HP gets. But he doesn't synergize with any of the best heroes in the game, so he really struggles, really struggles in PvP, at least in high leagues. Some people put Kanzok on him and they swear by it. They say it improves his performance drastically, because he runs around at something like plus 100% attack for 5 seconds and uses his very powerful first skill, reducing enemy healing and dealing massive damage and reflecting damage. But he's still not higher than A. One of the best, the better criminals for sure. Invincible is bad in PvP because he Conquest taunts him and he does nothing but tickle Conquest because Anissa massively reduces his defense. He has skills that scale poorly. He's human. So he really struggles in high leagues against those most powerful heroes. And you can never position him. You can never reliably put him in a position X and know that he'll be there. He'll fly away to some random target and your positioning is screwed. But he is the king of GD Ops. He can do stuff that nobody else can do, like run everyone who's anyone solo. He is great in food operations, etc, etc. For that he stays in A. Red Rush, same, he stays in A. He is formerly one of the best heroes in the game due to his yoink that reduces enemy defense by 45%, making them take X2 damage for several seconds. He was great in blitz comps. He increases critical damage by almost 33%. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And he's a very good hero, but he's human. Therefore massively countered by Anissa and makes Anissa counter his entire team as long as he's standing. So he really struggles with those most powerful heroes and he fell to A tier. Still very good, but not the best. I don't recommend you use him. I would rather recommend you use Defender Eve instead. He was praised as a very strong hero for some operations, but I can't be bothered to invest any resources into him. King Lizard. King Lizard stays in A tier because he gives massive defense increase to his team, which is fantastic in operations like the Guardians around the globe. And in GD food operations, if he's fighting any modern Guardians of the globe like Shapesmith, Immortal, Robot, then he gives massive defense increase to his entire team. And supposedly, as long as such hero is present on the enemy team with Anissa, he outcompensates that, which is pretty nice. But as you see, there are no GD heroes in SSS and S tier, and they are not a serious threat, so that's a nice buff, but who are you gonna see? Shapesmith, maybe Robot, and once they're dead, that buff is lost. He also does surprising amount of damage by himself, even without skill upgrades to any of his skills, and that's good. He can charge ally skills, like for example if you put him into front line and you put Cecil behind him, if he is attacked, he's going to make Cecil taunt that attacker and he can charge his first skill massively, resulting in hammer being used much earlier than usual. So there are attacks for him like that. Got nothing to say, strong hero, solid choice. One of the best criminal faction heroes for sure. Komodo Dragon. Komodo Dragon, I would say he's third or fourth best defender in the game, after Conquest, after Ellen. I'm not sure if he's better or worse than Defender Eve, it's hard to evaluate. But he has massive defense, massive taunts, insane taunts, and he can be immune to crits, and at the very moment immunity to crits works, I would say it doesn't work, it's bugged. It's a very bad design. Instead of him not receiving, so what he should be is, if Universa attacks him, she cannot crit, and therefore she only attacks him, and none of her attacks chain to any other enemies. But it doesn't work like that. It works as follows: if Universa crits, he doesn't receive any damage. If Nolan hits him, he doesn't receive any damage, as long as that hit is critical, which is absurd, because if you have a highly invested, upgraded, geared up hero, he can have literally 100% critical chance, and that guy is just not receiving damage, and that guy is just not dealing damage. That is stupid, but that's how it works. So Komodo is very strong in some instances. However, a big issue with Komodo is that for him to be strong and have more defense, he needs to have more lizard-like heroes like King Lizard and Iguana on the team. But the more people you have, the harder your team is debuffed by Anissa. Both humans and inhumans. It's a tricky situation. 80 hero, very strong. Got nothing else to say. Robot Lifepod. Robot Lifepod, you go down to B tier, good niche use. Why is that? Well, by himself, Robot Lifepod has very nice damage. He shoots quick, he shoots hard, he enables allies by increasing their attack massively every like 15 seconds. But it's been months and I've not seen one Robot Lifepod in the main PvP arena, which is saying a lot. Plus his skills do not scale well, plus he has 0 mobility, 0 survivability. He's like a sitting duck, very powerful turret, but no more than a turret. I've talked to guys like Cabraxis and some other whales, and they were saying that he's probably A tier or S tier, but I think the consensus has changed now. He's just a B tier hero. He's good for some ops. Maybe he's good for nightmares, but not PvP material at all. Plus he's human, so he drags his entire team down. With this new Anissa meta, I got nothing good to say about him. At this point he is kind of food, or almost food. Yeah. Who we got now? Immortal. I'm keeping Immortal in B tier. He lost his weapon X strat, same with Multipaul. He is just a good hero that can reduce Viltrumite damage by 35%, but that's never enough to fight Viltrumites. Viltrumites still will overpower all of that and obliterate your team, and he's hard counted by both Anissa and Kregg, because he can summon Anissa, and Conquest. It's a very bad time to be Immortal, unfortunately. At this point he is food. I would not recommend you invest into him. Multipaul. I've seen some teams work with him. I think it's Wasabi Addict, that's the most famous and efficient Multipaul user. I'd see no synergies between Multipaul and any strong heroes. Maybe with Capevincible, because every time he casts his first skill, that probably counts as 2 or 3 human deaths, and that charges Capevincible, but Capevincible is weak. Who cares for that synergy? Plus he is a rank hero, he doesn't have 4 skills. I can't say anything good about him. I'd rather have Powerplex, or Dog Seismic, or Komodo, or King Lizard. Lucan. Lucan is He's a good hero, but he's so outshined by all of those insane From Worlds Beyond heroes that he doesn't make the cuts, neither to A tier any higher. He is good at pushing enemies and making Anissa fly through them. Other than that, meh. Maulers, ranged maulers are good for PvE. You have a whole team of maulers, you throw in one Angstrom Levy or Powerplex to make them more powerful. You run them in very short event operations, and that's it. That's your use for them. I've never seen them in... I've seen them in PvP, but not for the last 2 to 3 months. Yes. Rex Splode. Impossible to use him in PvP. He folds like paper, but he is amazing in well-done operation. Sizzles nightmares. As long as invaders are present, invaders like Universa, Anissa, Rus, and as long as they're present, he boosts his entire team's critical chance by 25%, which is very respectable and matters a lot in operations and nightmares, and that's his niche. In the past, people say that he was a good damage dealer by himself, but after nerfs, reworks and quote-unquote fixes, it seems to not be the case any longer. Battlebeast is unfortunately a weak hero. He's good, but when we compare them to that bunch, I'm calling them weak. He's a good hero, but no more than that. He's From Worlds Beyond food. He should be fitting those heroes. He has insane single target damage. He's one of the best duelists. As long as those targets aren't Conquest, for example. Conquest completely guts this kitty because he reflects damage, reflects bleeding, etc, etc. And the two biggest troubles of Battlebeast are, first, he is extremely slow. He spends more time running around the battlefield than hitting enemies. And the second thing is that he reduces his defense by 15%, which it wouldn't be bad if he was hitting multiple enemies at the same time, but instead he hits just one enemy and 2 to 3 enemies can't hit him, dealing much more damage than usual, and he just folds like paper. He got a totem. His totem is very good. The issue is that he most often doesn't live long enough to use that totem and to use its first skill. So, what's his niche? Small battles like 1v1, 2v2 in alliance warfare, and fighting other sub-80 heroes, let's call it like that. Adameve, she stays in B. She's good. With healing gel, she can heal its own, but she won't survive in PvP long enough to do that. In PvP, you're going to have Anissa, Kregg, Thula, Agent Spider, everyone and anyone that will kill her or massively damage her team before she does anything useful, which happens in like 18 or 20 seconds into the battle. She got a totem, it's decent, not much else to say. I'd rather make Defender Eve than her, which you can give healing gel to as well. Bulletproof. Bulletproof is a strong... Oh, strong not. He's not a strong hero. Bulletproof is a good niche hero. You can build a team around him and make him have immunity shield up almost 24/7. And he's good. He's good. He is not instrumental to any GTA ops, but he can sometimes shine in alliance warfare and sometimes in PvP. But if his shield is pierced by Conquest or Anissa, he's done. The moment he loses his immunity shield, he is almost certainly dead. Aquarus. Aquarus is a good hero. He's a niche hero. You can use 5 of him in turning up the heat. You can use him in event operations, especially to take care of pesky immortals with their immunity shields and bulletproofs and those, etc, etc. I've seen big fishes in PvP. They hit surprisingly hard with their first skill, but that's a niche use. He's not that strong, so rather use him as food. Darkwing. Darkwing is a good hero because he does his critical. If he crits, his next attack or that attack attacks another target for much more damage than the main target. He's like Universa with a twist. And that's a very respectable skill. It can work nicely in some operations. I think he's a technologist, so he benefits from Powerplex. But overall, of course, he's just food. Kursk, probably the quickest attacker in the entire game. He deals surprising amount of damage by himself. What else to say? Nothing else to say. Quickest attacker, technologist, so good for gear operation because he's a criminal, deals more damage to defenders. Overall, of course, he's food. Flaxan Leader, his niche is giving you more resources in certain operations. I use him this time. Lately, I'm using him in this is heavy operation to get plus 11% more chips. Sometimes I use him in downtown destruction to get plus 10% pink XP. I also use him sometimes with who? So he synergizes with Rus, getting more damage and getting immunity shield. He synergizes with Nolan, getting immunity shield because Invader is present on the team. He is very tanky, but he deals no damage at all. Sometimes he's useful in warfare, but using him in PvP is a joke. Angstrom Levy, meme character, does nothing. He does nothing well, but he's very nice to be empowering Maulers, and that's why he is in this tier. Not good for anything else. Monster Girl. Monster Girl is her niche use is Lord Yeezus team, which makes her a menace, but that has to be a very particular team built around her. And in that team she can fight Conquest and take him on with the same or greater defense, but much less damage. But she's human. Having her is a nuisance for the entire team. Good niche use. That's it. To me, she's food. Oliver. Some people treat Oliver like small Omniman and use him in well-done operation. I've seen him do some cool stuff, even in PvP, but overall he's just a rare hero. He's not human, he's Viltrumite, so he benefits from Kregg. But come on, man. Rare hero, no 4 skills, just 3. Meh. Seance Dog. Seance Dog. You can never have Seance Dog at level high enough to be on par with the rest of your team, so he is not usable in PvP at all. And he is not particularly useful in GTA Ops. There were some tags with Defender Reef and Healing Gel, etc, etc. I don't know what to say. Good niche hero. Finding the niche is up to you. Who's that? Damien Darkblood. Damien Darkblood can work really well in particular teams. It was Virtual Terrorist that I think he still keeps him on his team to empower not of this earth heroes. You have to work really hard to make him work in PvP, and he's not particularly useful in GD ops, so B tier. Titan. Titan is a surprisingly strong duelist. He's awesome for defense and alliance warfare because he gets really tough the lower his HP gets, and he has a very nice totem that kind of makes him do 40% of his max HP as bonus damage from time to time. So I'm keeping him in B tier. Iguana. Same with Iguana by herself. I would say she's worthless. But people that have invested in her highly and that have her in with highly developed King Lizard and Komodo, they swear by her. And I've seen some battle reports with stats. She seems to be doing good in niche compositions. So I'm keeping her here, but to me both of them are food. C tier. Weak heroes. Melee Mauler. There's nothing he excels at. Just food. I really got nothing to say. Green Ghost does no damage. Pathetic amount of healing. Human. Darkwing. Human. Very niche, very weak skills. Disappears from battlefield with enemies instead of, like Anissa, making enemies disappear from battlefield. Melee grounded. Oh man. War Woman. I've not seen her work. Got nothing good to say about her. Shrinking Ray. I'm gonna promote Shrinking Ray to B tier. Good heroes. Because she can massively increase team defense. And I've seen people that I trust vouch for her and say that she can work and she can enable teams hard. It's just that we don't see that enough. Martian Man, just weak. Maybe I've seen him once in PvP in 3 to 4 months. Don't know what to say. Dupli-Kate, weak. Low damage, GDA, receive plus 20% damage from worlds beyond, and spend several copies that makes Anissa debuff your team even harder than she already does that. Rare hero, no 4 skills. Bad. Omniman, I mean, I'm dropping them down to Z tier because as bad as those heroes are, those of course are 10 times weaker. And the weakest, Magmaniac, I don't know any use for him. Black Samson, okay, Black Samson, you're promoted. I think Black Samson with his tankiness has more uses than Dupli-Kate. Isotope, bro, nothing good to say for you. Tether Tyrant, absolutely pathetic. And those, okay guys. Yep, so that's it. We are done with the tier list for today. So my recommendation overall would be to focus on those heroes at all times, then some of those. So if you want to have a mega strong PvP team, Just do triple S and S tier heroes. That will be more than enough for you. For example, the heroes that I use in PvP are Universa, Anissa, Mark II. Honestly, not using him very often because I fight Anissa all the time. Nolan, I'm rarely using him when I can. Omniman, almost 24/7. Even if I see at least one Viltrumite, I'm using him. Conquest 24/7, Kregg 24/7, Donald. Placeholder hero, I put him in when, for example, I can't use my Universa because enemy is using Alan and I don't want his team to get plus 20% damage and plus 20% defense. That's when I don't use Universa and use Donald instead. Rus Livingston, if enemies are not using Anissa, I sometimes use him. Then who do I use? Sometimes, very rarely, for fun, I use King Lizard to give my team massive defense buff. I have him, but don't use him anymore. And that's it. That's my PvP pool. Don't look at this tier list in the stupid terms of high S, low S, low B, mid B. No. These heroes are placed here randomly. It doesn't mean that Komodo is necessarily much worse than Doc Seismic or Alan. It's just their placement. With all of that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was informative and helped you a lot. And have a great week, guys. Mwah!